Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the massive global spectacle that is the upcoming 2026 World Cup. But look, we aren't just rattling off dates and stadiums here. We're actually analyzing the source material of football history that's literally being written right in front of us. We're going to explore two intensely contrasting stories heading into the tournament. One's about the quiet, historic inevitability of a single, iconic legend. And the other? Well, that's about the loud, explosive heartbeat of an entire nation. Before we really unpack the data and the reports, I gotta ask you a question directly. Think about it for a second. When you tune in to these massive global events, what actually draws you in? What makes the World Cup truly unforgettable for you? Is it, the solitary greatness of a legendary player achieving the seemingly impossible? Or is it that shared heartbeat of a community, that raw, emotional roar of a whole nation standing firmly behind their squad? Just kind of keep that question in the back of your mind as we unpack today's stories. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Two Sides of 2026, The Legend and the Nation. Section 2, The Ultimate Individual Legacy, The Weight of History. So, the crucial point we're seeing in the reports is this. Lionel Messi leads all players in World Cup goal involvements. Now, in sports analysis, words really matter. Notice how the text doesn't just say he leads in goals. It specifically points to goal involvements. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this specific terminology paints a much wider picture. Goal involvements encompass both scoring the ball yourself, right, and assisting others to score. By focusing on this exact metric, the source material is highlighting a deeply comprehensive individual legacy. It's not just some simple, solitary goal count. It signifies a player's total historical impact on the mechanics of the game itself over a vast span of time. And man, that brings us to this absolutely staggering number, 6. In a sport where simply making it to one or maybe two tournaments is considered the absolute pinnacle of a professional career, stepping onto that pitch for a 6th time, that is almost beyond comprehension. It's wild. As the source so elegantly puts it, and a record 6th tournament awaits. I mean, just think about the sheer historic weight of one individual carrying this unprecedented legacy into 2026. Every single time he touches the ball, he isn't just playing a match. He's actively adding to a historical record that honestly may never be touched again. It really is the absolute pinnacle of the individual legend. All right, Section 3, A Nation's Heroic Charge, The Collective Heartbeat. Look closely at the language used in our source text right here. The Turkish national football team departed with a grand ceremonial escort. A grand ceremonial escort. That phrasing alone instantly paints such a vivid picture for us. You can almost hear the noise, can't you? It's explosive. It's this incredible shared energy. It's literally an entire population making their presence felt before a single tournament whistle has even been blown. The reports specifically frame this departure as a heroic send-off. And in this context, we aren't just talking about a simple parade. It's a grand departure characterized by a nation rallying completely behind its team. It is the physical manifestation of enormous national pride and, crucially, incredibly high psychological expectations for the upcoming tournament. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer weight of a nation. It all begins with that grand ceremonial escort, which is basically a visual conduit for enormous national pride. And that pride, well, it fuels sky-high tournament expectations. By the time the nation fully rallies behind the squad, these players aren't just carrying their own personal ambitions anymore. They are carrying the emotional hopes of literally millions of people. I absolutely love this direct quote from the source. Nation rallies behind national team. The emotional momentum packed into those 6 little words is massive. It really shows how a whole nation's psychology, their joy and their anticipation, are totally invested in this single squad's journey. So if the first half of our explainer was about the weight of history on one man, this right here is all about the weight of expectation from an entire society. Section 4, What Makes the Cup? Individual greatness versus collective passion. Understanding these two driving forces is the absolute key to understanding the drama that's gonna unfold on the pitch. Let's move to and see how this builds. Here we have the ultimate contrast in sports psychology. On the left side, you've got the individual legend, Messi's legacy, that mind-boggling record-breaking sixth tournament and his leading goal involvements. And that is pitted directly against the right side, the collective nation, Turkey's charge, their heroic send-off, and that enormous, roaring national pride. These represent the two distinct paths to glory in 2026. Step 1, the first path, is driven by the pursuit of unprecedented individual records. It's clinical, it's historical, and it's heavily metric-driven. Step 2, the second path, is fueled by the burden of enormous collective national expectation. It's loud, it's passionate, and it's deeply emotional. Both paths lead to the exact same tournament, sure, but the psychological fuel burning in the engines of these players couldn't be more different based on what our source material shows us today. Which leaves me with one final thought to put back to you as we wrap up this explainer. When that first whistle finally blows in 2026, what's going to capture your attention? Are you tuning in for the solitary legend chasing untouchable history, or the roaring nation seeking collective glory? It's a fascinating duality, and it's exactly what makes this tournament so universally captivating. Thanks for learning with me today, and hey, stay curious.